Thank you all so much for being here. At 1 o'clock today, approximately, a shooting occurred just outside of the Target here in Oakley. I'm here with Chief Theetge. I'll let the chief talk about the specifics. I'm here to clear up the aspect of the active shooter designation. This was not an active shooter. It's important for the community to know that right off the top. When our 911 operators got several calls about a shooting that happened here at Target, the protocol is to, and those witnesses believe that it was an active shooter. The protocol from those 911 operators is to give law enforcement the information that they have. It's understandable given the confusion, given that it's a very crowded area, why those callers thought it was, but it was not. And I'll let the chief talk about the specifics of that. Because of those calls, law enforcement, our incredible CPD was here within minutes. I also want to say how proud I am of CPD's response, how quickly they got here, how immediate the investigation started. And for specifics, I'll hand it over to Chief Theetge.
Good afternoon. As the mayor said, at about 1 o'clock this afternoon, our 911 center started receiving 911 calls from witnesses that there was an individual firing a gun in the area of the Target store up here in the Oakley neighborhood. The calls came in as such a manner that led us to believe it was an active shooter situation that was dispatched as an active shooter situation. We were immediately able to get an enormous amount of resources, Cincinnati and fire resources here to handle it. Once we arrived on scene, we determined it was not an active shooter investigation or incident. It was a shooter who had an intended target, and he fired his gun and hit that individual in the parking lot just outside the front doors of the Target store. The shooting did not occur inside the Target, and many of those employees and patrons inside the store were not harmed. Nobody inside the store was harmed. He only fired and shot at his intended target.
You do have people that are innocent shoppers out here when this happened. Talk about that aspect, and is this fatal? Is anyone dead or hurt? What are you hearing?
So the intended target that was shot has since passed. Unfortunately, he has passed. However, like I said, no other victims to this offense were here today. So no witnesses, no employees, no patrons were harmed. I will say that they were extremely intelligent and that they called for police services immediately. Those services arrived, and in the meantime, those employees, shoppers, patrons did the right thing. They sheltered in place inside the Target store. Because they did that, once we secured the scene and we got the victim fire help, then we utilized our SWAT personnel to clear the Target building. And as you can see behind me, that's a massive building. And so our SWAT resources were very methodical in clearing the building. It also has a second floor, so very time consuming, but they did a great job ensuring that there were no other victims inside.
A family is going to be hurting. Do you know who did this? This is going to be painful for some.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of questions about more specifics than what I've already given you. I will tell you, this is a very, very active investigation. The resources are still on the scene, so I really don't have additional facts to tell you.
We do have one male that is the victim in this?
Correct.
And the person that's the suspected shooter is a male as well?
Correct.
Is that person in custody?
Not at this time. It's an ongoing investigation.
Still on the loose and no ages?
When you say still on the loose, I want to make it perfectly clear. The suspect has left this area. We immediately knew by witnesses' accounts that he left in a vehicle immediately after shooting his victim. So nobody in this area right now is in danger. It is
How
safe.
would you say to those who are critical that there was this massive police response in what is traditionally a white area, whereas if one person were shot, say, in OTR, might not have the same response? To those who are critical like that, what would you say?
I would say I adamantly disagree with them. no matter where this incident would happen inside the city limits, the Cincinnati Police and Cincinnati Fire would respond just as they did today.
We also heard
And what
that-
else
that
can you
there
tell
was
us about
there was
this
a disturbance
suspect?
at the East Sport and it spilled over here. Is that true?
It is an ongoing investigation. We have
hell?
that piece of information, but we are still investigating that piece.
Have you all
What do
spoken
we know
to
about
the
this suspect? So we
individuals
left in
inside
a
of
vehicle. Is this a
Eastport?
person somebody should be concerned about? I mean, obviously went somewhere and they were in the kind of mind to shoot someone. What can you tell us?
Anytime anybody discharges a firearm in the offense like this, people should be concerned, obviously. But he left this area. We don't know his identity at this time. But no, so the people in this area, there's no need to be
There was
concerned.
an alert about a black Kia. Did that have to do with this?
I do not have that information right
How
now.
old
Have
is
you
the
all
victim?
spoken to
Do you
the
know the age of
managers
the victim
inside
by
of East
chance?
Sport?
I do not know anything about the victim as far as his age or his name. No, I don't
Have
know.
you all spoken to the managers inside of Eastport? We're hearing from members of that gym that this incident started inside the gym and it spilled over into the Target parking lot, which prompted the shooting.
Right. So immediately at the call and the arrival of our resources here, the focus was in front of the target because of the information that was relayed to us. So once that scene is secured, I know officers have already spoken to employees at the sports facility or fitness facility here, but there will be follow-up with them once this is wrapped up over here.
So you can't confirm that yet?
Confirm.
If there was a connection between that discretion in there to over to the target?
No, not definitively yet.
We'll do two more
Ongoing.
questions.
How about traffic control right now?
Go ahead.
How much longer do you expect this area
We'll
to be
start with
blocked out?
Teresa. She gets the next question.
How
and
much
we'll do
longer?
Spectrum and we're done.
How much longer? Until the resources are finished what they need to do. I would say minimum maybe an hour. We try to get it done as quickly as we can, but our first priority is to be thorough. Shatara?
Can you talk about the witnesses inside and the people that may have been in the store and overheard this? Now that we know that this was an isolated incident and a victim that was targeted, how will those people play a part in the investigation moving forward?
Yeah, so because there were so many witnesses, you know, everybody here knows we would typically take witnesses down to our CIS for the homicide investigators to interview them there. But because there were so many here today, we left them here at the scene. Metro was gracious enough to give us a bus to put them on, and we brought the investigators here. So they are interviewing the witnesses and letting them, releasing them from the scene as quickly as they can after they talk to them.
Exactly
we're done.
did the shooting
Thank
take
you.
place?
We'll send
In front of Target.
Where exactly are we?
So there you have it. That's Interim Chief Theetge telling us that one person is dead in this case. It was a shooting. It was targeted. Someone came to the target and shot their intended target, and that person is dead. No name at this time or ages. Kristen.